Welcome to video number 8 in the course where we are learning about software as a service, and in this video we are going to discuss agile development or agile development methodologies. If you have ever worked in both types, general types of companies, meaning startups and corporates, I think you will really relate to this video, because when you work in a startup you have felt a lot of flexibility and how everything can just work in a flexible and reacting way. While when you have worked in a corporate, you have felt that everything is just kinda rigid and organized and everyone knows what he or she should do. So both of these have certain advantages and disadvantages. And now let's say that we would like to develop a software as a service product. Which of these two we should go for? Should we try to be more flexible or should we try to be more organized? Well, essentially, the justification of these two approaches is like this. The flexible teams are really trying to react to a changing markets, to a changing conditions that are surrounding the company. While in corporates, this huge level of organization is because of that managers are trying to control their subordinates so that the expectations of the managers are fulfilled and this whole machinery is going in the right direction. Well, I can tell you this already in the beginning. For software as a service products who are operating in a very turbulent industry, the flexibility is going to be main focus. There is no reason for a manager or the entrepreneur rigidly trying to control the subordinates, the software developers. And this is justified by so-called Agile Development Manifesto, which was written in 2001. And that's what we are going to discuss in the rest of this video. This Agile Manifesto has 4 major points that really should be followed by the developers of software as a service products. First of all, individuals and interactions over processes and tools. As you see, what should be enhanced, what should be pursued are these interactions of people who are developing the software as a service product with the customers, with other partners, maybe with their colleagues. That should be our focus. We should let them freely react and we should give them free hands when they are reacting with the environment. While this is true in a corporate world and it has a use where the processes and tools are enhanced. So oftentimes you really try to write down how the processes work. So you try to have everything standardized so that no mistake occurs. Let's say that your company is producing a product for the past 30 years and thousands of customers are happy with your product. You really don't want some mistake caused by some flexibility of an employee to occur. You want that product to be the same so that the expectations of your customers who have been using that product for 30 years are fulfilled. As you see, this shouldn't be true for software as a service developers. They should try to enhance this individual interaction. Second of all, we have working software over comprehensive documentation. Well, if you have been ever a programmer or have some experience with it, you always have the code, the actual working software, and then you write some reports about it, some documentation of it, so that other people can maybe use and understand this your working software. Well, what should be enhanced among software as a service developers should be the first part, the working software. You really want that part of this development to work, because the reason is the software as a service teams who are developing these products are very small. So most likely they are going to cooperate and work on this code together. So the documentation is not that needed. It would be a waste of time for it. Well, again, if we look at the corporate world, the documentation makes sense because maybe there are going to be hundreds of people involved in the development of a product and it's going to take several years. So these teams are going to change. So the working documentation has sense in the corporate world, but maybe not that much for software as a service developers. Third of all, we have customer collaboration over contract negotiation. And again, this is very important point for software as a service developers. You want customers. You don't want them just because of the revenue. You want them also because of the feedback that they will provide for you. You want them because of the references that they will provide for you. You want customers that are collaborating, and that is more important for you than the actual revenues. While for the corporate world, the contract negotiation is very important. You are operating for already 20 years and you have gone through a lot of contracts. You have enough of references for your potential customers. In that case, the contract negotiation is important for you. The conditions under which you are selling your product are important. The amount of money that the customer is going to pay for your product are important. But you see, this shouldn't be that true for software as a service developers, especially for the startup companies. They really want the initial customers to get on board. The last point is maybe the most important: responding to change over following a plan. As I have mentioned to you in the beginning of this video, the software as a service market is really turbulent. Things are changing on a daily basis, and you want your company, you want your team to be able to react to these changes that are occurring. This is not true, of course, for the corporate and well-established company. These companies are having a plan, and they want the employees, the subordinates, to follow this rigid plan. And it makes sense for them so that nothing goes wrong. We have already proven something that is successful. We have this success. Why should we change something? So the rigidness has its justification here. As I have mentioned to you, the software as a service companies should rather go for this flexibility. Now, this Agile Manifesto is not important just because of these 4 points, but because of the more concrete methodologies that has been inspired by the Agile Manifesto. These concrete technologies I'm discussing is, for instance, Scrum development or so-called extreme programming. These are becoming very concrete. So this Agile Manifesto has inspired a lot of followers who have developed a more concrete plans, a more concrete advice for instance, software as a service developers. So in any case, the software as a service companies should be following this ideology of agile development. So I'm looking forward to see you in the next video, where we again go into more of the details about software as a service companies, and we will discuss some metrics that should measure how successful our development and our business is.